Good evening, I'm Emma Jane Vere and this is Television Tonga News. In the headlines, the water supply in Hapai in a satisfactory condition. Hapai's agriculture sector on the road to recovery after the cyclone. And villages in the western district of Tongatapu receive a water pump to enable consistent water supply to residents. These and more stories, including news from the Pacific, sports, world and the weather information later on in this bulletin. Let's take a look at the news in detail. Representatives from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, arrived in Nuku'alofa this morning. They are in the kingdom for three main reasons. The group of six will review the initial damage assessments in Ha'apai, discuss the current situation on the ground, including ongoing initiatives by Tongan government and development partners, and also discuss the relevance, scope, logistics and time frame for potential post-disaster needs assessment. In that assessment, they're expecting to identify the support available from the World Bank for the recovery in key sectors. The scope mission is led by a senior environmental specialist, Mr. Dennis Geordie, and also includes a senior disaster risk management specialist, a senior transport specialist, Christopher Bennett, and two economists. The representative from the IMF is Mr. Yong Zeng Yang. A meeting was held today with the Honourable Acting Prime Minister, Sami Waipulu, before the group leave for Ha'apai tomorrow morning. The survey will be held until next week, February 4th. Much work needs to be done in order to achieve the government and Tonga's energy roadmap, or TERM's goals, in lowering electricity tariffs for consumers. The CEO of TERM, Inoke Vala-Finau, says that the Honourable Prime Minister, Lord Duvernour, in a previous interview, said a review needs to be done to identify the reasons behind the ongoing electricity hikes, although Tonga has established a solar farm to address this challenge. Here's Fatai Whainga'a with more on that story.
The Honourable Prime Minister Lord Duvernour made the statement when he led Tonga's delegation to the International Renewable Energy Agency IRENA meeting in Abu Dhabi earlier this month. The Prime Minister was accompanied by TERM's senior advisor Akau Ola and TERM's CEO Inoke Vala-Finau. He says the solar farm projects in Tonga are now in two phases. The first is the setup of the project and a Build-Do Tona partners to fund the projects, while the second is the distribution of electricity by Tonga Power Limited. The solar farms established in Tonga aims to save 47,000 litres of diesel that is normally used to enable the distribution of power to consumers. These projects aim to generate 50% of electricity powered by solar energy to homes by 2015, with more expected in 2016. Mr. Finau says while the Prime Minister was in Abu Dhabi, he also sought assistance from IRENA and other partners in developing more business plans to help lower the electricity costs. As a result, IRENA has agreed to outline the plan in the upcoming Small Islands Developing States, or SIDS, meeting in Samoa in September this year. The multi-million solar farm established in Tonga was funded by IRENA and Tonga's other developing partners. For Radio and Television Tonga News, I'm Fatai Whainga'a.
The availability of water in the Ha'apai group of islands is quite satisfactory. The CEO of the Tonga Water Board, Simone Helu, revealed this in a televised program on Radio and Television Tonga this morning. Moreover, a new water distillation machine has been set up on the island. This can turn up to 20,000 litres of seawater into drinking water. However, the amount of drinking water is lowered to 10,000 litres a day in order to maintain the distillation machine. Here's Fatai Whainga'a with that report.
At the moment, there is no concern of insufficient water supply in Ha'apai unless an unexpected problem occurs to affect it. The Tonga Water Board has free water reserves for the people of Ha'apai if needed. Mr. Helu also confirmed the areas in Ha'apai whose water is up and running. We don't have to pay to ship over water to Ha'apai as we go via the Governor of Ha'apai's office. All we do is provide and transport water to the island. The water supply in the western area of Bangai is running smoothly. The CEO appealed to Ha'apai residents to use their water wisely. In the long run, if the water supply is still consistent by June or July, then there's no problem here. But residents need to use their water wisely and maintain the water distillation machine. Water from this distillation machine is much better than rainwater.
Efforts are underway to recover Hatbai's agriculture sector. A deputy director from the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food, Daniela Hoponoa, says that Hatbai's crops and vegetation did suffer dry season before Tropical Cyclone Ian hit the island. Fononga Veikoso tells you more.
An initial survey carried out by the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, reveals that the food and agriculture sector in Hatbai is on the road to recovery. The initial survey was carried out in 4 main districts in the aftermath of Tropical Cyclone Ian. They are Uiha, Foa, Pangai and Ha'ano. A deputy director from the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food, Daniela Hoponoa, was part of the team of stakeholders that carried out the survey. The survey considered how the crops suffered during the dry season, which was before the cyclone. This resulted in a low harvest of crops. The cyclone caused even more damage to the vegetation when it hit, which was a dry season. Mr. Hoponoa says the Agriculture Ministry is providing equipment to help in the recovery of Hatbai's agriculture sector from the cyclone. Such equipment includes bulldozers and other machinery to help clear the roads to land allotments and the plot allotments themselves from fallen trees in order to prepare the soil for planting. Seedlings will also be shipped over to help in the planting of crops and other vegetation. Overall, Mr. Hoponoa says the results of the initial survey will be submitted to the Cabinet for approval before a request for assistance can be made to donor partners. Daniela Hoponoa also calls on Hatbai residents to support the drive of replanting and recovering the agriculture sector in order to grow their own food and not rely on the food assistance provided.
Tonga earns almost 24 million pa'anga each year from its participation in the Seasonal Workers Program in New Zealand and Australia. Linda Filiai has the details.
The 24 million pa'anga a year is the revenue earned after the seasonal workers pay all the costs for the accommodation, food and other expenses from the Seasonal Workers Program in New Zealand and Australia. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Lopeti Sentoli, confirmed this to Television Tonga News this morning. We estimate that up to 40 million pa'anga is earned per year from the Seasonal Workers Program. Part of the money is spent overseas. An estimated of 18 to 24 million pa'anga is injected into Tonga each year, either in cash or from the imports of items from New Zealand and Australia. The peak season for the Seasonal Worker Program in New Zealand spans from February to June each year. At the moment, the Seasonal Worker Program is in satisfactory situation. A total of 2,800 Tongan workers were sent to Australia and New Zealand last year. 1,600 workers were sent to New Zealand and 1,200 workers were sent to Australia. We are hoping to double that number this year. Mr. Sendoli adds that there is a lot of employment opportunities available in Australia, but they need financial support for it. Moreover, the Seasonal Worker Program is very beneficial to families in the country in general.
Police confiscated 5 marijuana plants and 8 packets of marijuana yesterday from Homageligao. The acting superintendent of the Nuku'alofa Police Station, Devita Fifita, says 2 suspects have been taken into custody. We'll join Anasiu Falekaono with the details.
These are the 5 marijuana plants which were discovered by police, along with 8 small packets of marijuana. The acting superintendent of the Nuku'alofa Police Station, David Fifita, says they have not put a value on these items yet. 2 men have been taken into police custody. They are 23-year-old men from Ma'ofanga and 47-year-old men from Homageligao. These drugs were discovered when the police raided a house in Homageligao with a search warrant issued from court. When police went to the house, the owner wasn't there, but there were 2 people there. Police found 1 packet of marijuana in the house with 7 other packets along with 5 marijuana plants. The pair appeared in the magistrate court this afternoon. Police investigations into the matter continues. For Television Tonga News, I'm Anasiu Falekaono.
Villagers in the Western District were presented with a water pump to enable consistent water supply to homes in the area. The generous donation was made by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for the villages of Kala'au, Ha'utu and Whahewa. Anasiu Falekaono was there and filed this report.
The donation of water pump was made to address water constraints faced by the villages in past weeks, leaving them to rely on rainwater for their needs, according to the Ha'utu town officer, Petulikin Ngawamo. He also thanked the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for their generous assistance, which he says will help improve the consistency of water supply in the villages. We faced a lot of problems when we were used to the former water pump which we had been using for the past 14 years. With the new one we've received from the church, it helps us meet a lot of our needs. The contribution is made via the church's humanitarian assistance program. Elder Alan Webb handed over the assistance to the Ha'utu town officer.
It's been a long process for these people. The church is very pleased to be able to buy this machine and pump for the people of Ha'utu, and the people from Whahewa will benefit from it too. But today is celebration day, because it's just wonderful to see how happy the people are to have water again. It's been since before Christmas that they've had any water at all, and months before that, before they've had reliable water because their machine kept breaking down.
Meanwhile, the principal of Whahewa Government Primary School, Sisi Anakaho, says the school had to be closed for a couple of days because of the problem with the water supply. She adds that it got to a point where they couldn't access to any water at home or at school. The water pump is estimated at 30,000 pa'anga. For Television Tonga News, I'm Anasiu Falekaono.
That's the local news. Pacific is up next.